it all ties together. So.
Yep.
Why So Serious asks, curious, and for obvious reasons, this doesn't have to get too personal. How do you guys deal with mental health / mental stress with streaming? I know that mental health can take a beating with streaming.
It goes back to the older question, vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Taking time off.
Yeah, I think exactly what we were talking about before.
Making really close relationships with your mods often help. I'll have private conversation with a group of my mods like once a week, and we'll just talk about what's going on, talk about the things that I'm personally being bothered with, and because I know that they're going to keep it between us. Obviously, you have to learn to trust and get people that you do trust as mods. That's what you should be doing anyway. But being able to chat with them and get through things, because they are watching what you're doing at all times, they can see more than probably what you feel, is a good way to just keep things level-headed and have people that you can lean on that not only know you, but they know what's happening on your stream, right? So they can connect the two. That's huge for me.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to hear it from them because they're there all the time as well. That when you've got a problem or something's going wrong, they can go, well, hang on a second, it was actually fine, you're overreacting, because they have seen it the whole time, they have been there. But I think it's really hard with the whole mental side of things or mental stress side of things. It is at times it is hard, especially when you've been away from the stream for longer than needed or an event, to come back and just not let it hit you in the face, because sometimes, and you make a point of not checking stats and not letting anything affect you while you're away, and then you come back and it is really difficult at times to go, no, it's fine, I'm just going to continue. Like, I'm quite lucky I can snap out of it and just go, hey, it's fine, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm going to do, and everything's going to get back to what it was. It's just a dip. There's always dips, but other people may find it harder and may find it a lot longer to click out of that.
No dips, always up.
Yeah, right.
We've covered this topic a couple of times actually on the show. The mods have linked it, so if you guys want a more in-depth and I guess discussion about this sort of thing, definitely make sure to check those out. We've had some mental health advocates and streamers come onto the show and talk about this who are way better at talking about this than I am. But I would say also, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah. Don't be afraid to reach out. Like, not only to your peers, people you trust, even professional help. Like, don't feel... I know it's very hard for people to ask for help. It's like...
Especially when you're in that moment, right?
Yeah. I think it's like just like a defense thing. Like, people just don't want to seem weak. And
hardly people know they need help.
Yeah. There's a lot to it. And being somebody who's suffered from depression the majority of my life, when you're in a depressive state, you tend to feel like you're not worth help too, right? And there's a bunch of things that are just like that, where you're like, well, so I'm not going to bother anybody, and I don't need it, or I deserve what's happening. There's all this stuff that's like really complex, and it's really deeply troubling when you're looking at it from the outside. Yeah. And I think you kind of have to, when you're in a good state, establish some rules for yourself. When you're feeling good and fine, you're like, okay, when I have a problem, I'm going to make sure that I already have the resources. I know who it is that I'm going to call. I've already done my research on, a therapist that I might want to go see. I've already checked them out, and whatever it happens to be, I already have that network in place, sort of, so that when it does happen, you don't want to do a lot of work on yourself when you're in a troubled spot. That has to have already been done, so that you can then just like kind of jump into it, and you don't have to deal with all of those checks that you have on yourself. So if you're talking about like the serious deep end stuff, it's complex and tough, but this industry is full of people, and it's about people. So fortunately, we have a lot of people that we can talk to, and a lot of people who deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Blue Jay and Jesse Quill are two people that we've had on the show to talk about this exact thing. They speak a lot about mental health, and they would definitely be able to probably give some more answers if you guys are looking for some resources. So I definitely recommend checking them out.
And also look for mental health panels at TwitchCon. If you're going to TwitchCon, you can, of course, go to them in person and ask your own questions while you're there. But if you're not going, Fortunately, it's Twitch, so it's all broadcast to Twitch. You can check the schedule. We're still in the process of submitting panels. All of us, we streamers.
Today's the last day.
Okay, yeah. So at some point in the next 2 months, you should be able to see what the schedule is going to be, and make sure that you follow Twitch. Is it just TwitchCon on Twitter? I think.
Yes.
I think it's just at TwitchCon, not like TwitchCon 18 or whatever. So if you follow them, then you can keep up with what they post about the scheduling and see all the information that you need to see to make sure that you get the information from a structured panel of people who are conversing on this. That usually includes people with some professional expertise and a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's at least like 2 or 3 mental health panels per year. At least.
They're big and they're great.
Yeah. It's a tough thing, like being it's a lot of stress in streaming. I was actually talking about this in my chat today a little bit. It's like, it's not just playing video games. It's like any one of you guys that have streamed in chat, you guys know, like it's not as easy once you actually do it. So taking care of yourself at the end of the day is super important to trying to, keep your head in a good space.
I think especially as a streamer too, because while you're not responsible for other people and their happiness, you play a major role in their lives. This is true of everybody that I watch, and of me to people who watch me as well. And if I'm not in a good mental state, I'm throwing off everybody who's participating in my stream, everybody who's engaging with me. So doing the best to keep ourselves up and healthy and uplifted has that effect continuing outward on other broadcasters, and therefore on and on and on, as well as that kind of end stop point for us, which is just the everybody who watches us all the time. It's a really important consideration.
Yeah. Our next question comes from